Let me pull up my notes. Hello everyone and welcome. Not sure. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to this video. I'm Mariah. I'm a third year physical therapy student in a DPT program in Boston. I go to Syllabus University. I wanted to make this video because when I started physical therapy, there were a lot of things that I didn't know and I didn't know what to expect out of the program. So I thought it would be helpful for some people to know kind of what to expect and then some things that really helped me. So without further ado, let's go. There are a few ways to enter PT school. You can either go 3+3, which is where you do undergrad and grad kind of in a 6-year chunk. So I did undergrad and grad school at Simmons. Or you can do 4 years undergrad at a different college, get your major in. I think you can do like biology, kinesiology, and then you can go and apply to grad school and do the 3-year program, the grad program. It is a doctorate program, so it's very intense. My program goes all year round, but I started in the summer of 2020 and I've gone year round since then. So I guess the first thing to be aware of when you start PT school is your life is going to change. You're going to have a lot less free time and you're going to have a lot more studying, which I think is, you're in a doctorate grad program. That's to be expected, but it is quite a shift. Your lifestyle is going to change, or at least it did for me. I'm speaking, only from my experience, but I, started going to bed earlier when I did in undergrad just because I was so tired during the day, and I started waking up a lot earlier. So now I, don't study at night as much. I normally study in the morning. Because of this, it's important to prioritize yourself and establish really good routines. I'm, still working on my morning routine, my night routine, but things that really help me are going to the gym, having that morning routine, having that night routine so that your body kind of gets used to it. I would say in order to make it through PT school, you have to really love it. I really have a passion for it. I love helping other people. I love learning about complex aspects of the body and complex conditions. But if that's not something that you like to do, I would say just consider that. You probably won't make it through / want to make it through if you don't love what you do and find like that why behind it, have that meaning and, goal in the future. Your idea might change, but overall, you have to have, for me, it's I want to help people. You have to have the, underlying like baseline. Why do I want to be here? All right. Now that you're in PT school, if you're starting, whether this be your first semester, your second semester, whatever semester, what I usually do is once I have all of my syllabus, I think it's syllabi. Once you have all the syllabi, we're gonna go with that. So you pick your colors for each class and then you go through your planner, whether it be paper, whatever style planner you like to have, and you write down in that color all of the important due dates. I tried to write down every single homework assignment and it was too much. Like by that I mean like all the readings, way too much. So what you can do is you can highlight all the tests, anything that's due, anything super important like a quiz, a test, anything that's, different from a normal day. You write it on your month calendar and on your week calendar and you highlight it. For me, I would highlight if it's due, it would be a pink highlight. If it's a test or something that I have to like perform on, it's yellow. And then you don't get bogged down with like, oh, what reading? I have to write every single reading through the semester. No, you just look at your syllabus and see what there is for that week, but then you kind of know what's coming and like how many days you have to study for it. So the next thing that really helped me was learning how to make study guides that worked for me. First things first, find people who you want to make study guides with / study with. So what my friends and I do is we have a shared Google Doc of every class, and usually our teachers post the PowerPoint before class, so we copy and paste any of the notes that they've already put and we write it in a doc that we all have access to. And so then when you go to lecture, you don't have to worry about writing down all of the words that are already on the slide. You can know that it's already there in your document and type in the notes that they say and that aren't on the slide. I found this really helpful. You can do this in different ways. You could do this in PowerPoint. I know there's like a speaker note area. The Google Docs just works best for my study group. Learning what works for you, finding a group of people to make them with, because then you can have like 4 different people typing on the same document, and so you make sure you get all of the information, and then you can go through that document, make edits, and then there's your study guide. So it's already made, which is great for midterms, finals, quizzes, and even the board exams. When learning content, I learn it in a few different ways. If it's something that's super visual, like labeling something, you can download a picture or print out a picture. If you're printing it out, I would stick it in, either laminate it or stick it in like a binder. And then you can just write on the plastic an expo marker. Or if it's in your iPad, then you can just use like the erase function and, label it there. That was super helpful, just over and over and over and over and over again, so that when you're labeling something on an exam, you kind of like have that muscle memory of writing, which is honestly how I study for most things. It's the muscle memory of writing. If it's something more like a concept, so you learn it as best as you can in whatever medium works well for you, but then try to teach it to someone, because if you can teach it, you'll be fine. You know it. For my studying, when I have my study guide, what I like to do, if it's a manageable amount of work, I will handwrite out the whole study guide, which works the best. But if it's way too much work, I will either download it onto Notability or print it out. I'll use the different colors and write kind of like in the blank spots and like highlight specific things. So normal intracranial pressure is between, you want to keep it below 20, ideally between 10 and 15. I'll write that on the side just so I can like see it. I've handwritten it. I know it a lot better, and then I can go through and be like, okay, that's really important. And then finally, drawing. If it's a concept that you can draw it out, or if it's like a pathway in the nervous system, different tracks in the nervous system, super helpful to draw it out. I'm just talking about the nervous system because I just had neuro. But you can apply it to anything. Next thing that was really helpful for me, not as much this year, but for some reason I didn't use them as much in like cardiopulm and neuro, but something I found really, really helpful in my first year, where we took movement science, concepts and skills, and musculoskeletal. So making study guides, or if the teacher provides study guides, that's amazing, but making/getting study guides and taking practice tests, so helpful. Because then you know where to study and what areas you're strong in and where you need to improve. My next suggestion would be to utilize the professor and utilize the GAs available, and other classmates, but the professor and the GAs sometimes will have tips or ideas of how to learn things that maybe you hadn't thought of. So if you don't understand something, obviously do it within a reasonable amount of time, but it's really helpful to ask questions and be like, oh, I don't really understand it the way that you explained it, or I don't quite get this concept. Would you mind explaining it again or in a different way? That will, first of all, help you learn it, and second of all, show the professor that you really care. One of the biggest things that I struggled with in my first year was learning the origins and insertions of muscles, which I think is something that most people are, at least I was terrified of it. But if you go into Quizlet and you have the origin, insertion, action, and innervation of the muscle, you make each one its own study or flashcard. So on, one side you write origin, or latissimus dorsi, origin, and then you write the answer. Latissimus dorsi, insertion, write the answer. So they're each their own separate study card. And then I use, or flashcard, and then I use the write feature on Quizlet. It will say, origin of latissimus dorsi, and then you can type it in. And for me, it's a lot more time efficient. I know typing isn't quite as good in terms of like muscle memory, but it worked really well for me, and it was a lot more time efficient. I tried writing them out and my hand got so tired, it kept cramping. So this was just a lot better. I also, suggested this to some of my friends, and I know at least one of them started to use it. I don't know if anyone else did, but she found it super, super helpful. So just something to try. And then finally, this is a really hard program. It's gonna get really stressful. It's gonna get really hard and confusing, and your brain is gonna be screaming. So if that happens, that's normal. It's okay. Just go for a walk or run or do something active or whatever makes you happy. For me, walking really helped. This year I kind of found going to the gym really helped. So just find something that works for you. Maybe cooking, reading. It can feel like you don't have enough time. I get that. And sometimes you don't when it's final exams, but I guarantee you a 5-minute walk will probably make you study a lot better in the end. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and click the notification bell below. That would really support me. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Remember to take care of yourself.